It's the worst water crisis Chennai has faced in years. The 4 reservoirs that supply water to the city are almost empty. Residents are struggling and increasingly depending on private water tankers to meet their daily demand. The Tamil Nadu government, however, is still in denial. State Minister SP Velumani claims that the stories of water shortage have been manufactured. The state government is setting up a monitoring committee to take up water supply related issues. First, a ground report.
People queuing up with empty pots is a routine sight now across the city, as Chennaiites are left with little choice but to rely on water tankers, be it metro tankers or private tankers, to ensure their day-to-day activities are not affected. Chennai is facing one of its worst water crises this year, receiving just 550 million litres of water every day as opposed to 800 million litres of water every day last year. As a result, the Chennai Metro Water has cut 40% of piped water supply in the capital city.
जरा थोड़ा पानी आता था
पहले आता था
पहले आता था
अभी आ रहा है
अभी नहीं अभी 1-2 बार 3 बार क्या गाड़ी थोड़ा बहुत आता था
अच्छा तो
4 दिन के एक बार आता था पानी
अच्छा तो 4 दिन के एक बार में आपको पानी आता है
वो 2 आवर आता था
काम पे नहीं गया मैं पानी के लिए काम पे नहीं गया अभी बच्चों लोग का स्कूल शुरू होने वाला है अभी 10 तारीख को स्कूल शुरू होना है अभी बिल्कुल पानी नहीं है ऐसा प्रॉब्लम है
This is Srinagar, in the heart of the city, one of the more developed areas. The residents here are blaming illegal constructions, the metro project, and the fact that stormwater drains are filled with sewage for many years for the crisis they are facing this year.
Now, in the span of 40 years, because of massive, illegal constructions and the government inability to control the buildings, no proper water management was done, and we have been losing groundwater gradually.
Metro water has not been able to provide adequate water tankers. One has to go in for private tankers. The cost is exorbitantly high. For a capacity of 6,000 litres, they are charging 1,500 rupees.
The ruling AIA-DMK government is trying hard to tackle the water crisis and has sanctioned 233 crore rupees for getting water projects in the city running. Tamil Nadu government has declared 17 districts including Chennai drought hit. Deficit rainfall in 2017 and failed monsoon last year has left the 4 reservoirs almost empty. Some are moving from extreme deficit areas to areas where at least a little bit of supply continues. As the city grapples with its current state, there don't seem to be many solutions in the near future. In Chennai with Purnima Murli in New Delhi, this is Akansha Pradeep.
And it seems to be that there is an emergency situation in the city. No groundwater, dried up water sources, and the longest dry spell in a decade. And it's crippling the hospitality sector. Hostels are downing shutters, hotels skipping the lunch service as they struggle to meet their daily requirement. Purnima Murli has done another ground check.
This notice says it all. The acute water crisis in Chennai forcing the shutting down of a hostel in the heart of Chennai. There has been no tanker supply for 2 months. With a non-existent metro water supply, there's little option.
1 year தண்ணி பிரச்சனை இருக்கு நம்ம போர் வாட்டர்ல தான் மான்சூன் ஓட்டிட்டு இருந்தேன் அப்புறம் வந்து இப்போ தண்ணி போர்லும் கிடக்கல லாரி தண்ணி தான் வாங்கிட்டு இருந்தேன் இப்போ லாஸ்ட் 1 மந்த்ல லாரி தண்ணியும் ரொம்ப கஷ்டம் ஆயிடுச்சு இப்போ சுத்தமா லாரி தண்ணி கிடக்கல அதனால வந்து மான்சூன் க்ளோஸ் பண்ணி இந்த 15th ல இருந்து மான்சூன் க்ளோஸ் பண்ணியாச்சு.
The shutdown isn't restricted to hostels and PGs. Restaurants and hotels say they'll have to curtail business if the water crisis continues. This notice at Hotel Ananda says meals will not be served if the crisis worsens. Some other hotels don't offer lunch anymore. There's no water for cooking or serving.
இந்த அடிப்படை தேவையை வந்து தண்ணி தான் மெயின் தேவை. அதில் கடை திறக்கிறதுலேருந்து மூடுற வரைக்கும் தண்ணி தான் மெயின் பிரச்சனையே. அந்த தண்ணி வந்து எங்களுக்கு சரியாக கிடைக்கிறது இல்லை. கிரவுண்ட் வாட்டர் சுத்தமாக கிடையாது. போரில் அதனால் தண்ணியே வர்றது கிடையாது. நாங்கள் பூரா ப்ரைவேட் லாரியை நம்பி தான் இருக்கிறோம். ப்ரைவேட் லாரியும் பார்த்திங்கன்னா 1500 ரூபாய் கொடுத்தது வந்து இன்றைக்கி 3000 4000 ஸ்ட்ரெஸ் தராங்க. ரெண்டாவது சொன்ன டயத்துக்கு வர்றதும் கிடையாது. வந்தாலுமே நல்ல தண்ணியாக வர்றது கிடையாது. எல்லோ கலரு ப்ரௌன் கலரு.
With little or no water at home and without the resources to buy it, Chennaiites depended on services at their offices or public places. Those avenues are shutting down.
60 रुपये का पानी ले रहा हूँ, एक कैन 30 रुपये का मेरे को मिल रहा है. 2 कैन ले रहा हूँ, मेरे को 2 कैन चाहिए क्योंकि तो मेरा फैमिली बड़ा है. मैं यहाँ के समझ लो कि मेरे बीवी बच्चे मेरी सास पूरे फैमिली में साथ में है. तो 2-3 कैन मैं पैन ले रहा हूँ. 60 रुपये मेरा रोज़ का जा रहा है, लेकिन मेरा इनकम बहुत कम है. मैं जो हॉस्पिटल में जो काम कर रहा हूँ मेरे को समझ लो कि कम से कम 20,000 25,000 रुपये मिल रहा है. तो मेरा बजट में आके मेरे को मार रहा है, मेरे को ज़्यादा पैसा जा रहा है.
The state government is downplaying the crisis, saying hotels are not unduly impacted and that water can be bought to meet requirements. With Purnima Murali in Chennai, in New Delhi, this is Shagun Bhushan for CNN News 18.
Clearly, it is an unprecedented crisis that is unfolding in Chennai at the moment. And Purnima is joining me live from Valliyur Kottam in Chennai. And Purnima, just a quick update. There seems to be a paradox in what the state government is saying and what they are doing. On one hand, they are saying that this is a manufactured crisis. On the other, they have set up this committee. When all these schools are shut, the hotels have started cutting their afternoon meals. Where is it all heading? What are we seeing over the next 24 hours? Does the state government really have a plan?
Well, the state government is trying to downplay the whole water crisis that people have been facing. Maria, you can see how some of the hostels, some of the hotels are really struggling to have their businesses as usual. But clearly, what we are given to understand is that the state government has not learnt lessons. The desilting work in the 4 reservoirs in Chennai haven't begun. Right now, they are trying to allocate funds for desilting, which means that only when the desilting happens can they store more water. So clearly, despite the devastating floods in 2015, the water is not stored. There is no ground level water, and there is complete nightmare that people are facing, considering that they are not able to meet their daily water requirements. Here we are outside one of the water tankers, Chennai Metro water tankers. You can see how these are the water tankers that people rely on. These are the water tankers that actually provide water to people, but the wait is long for people. They have to wait for at least 25 days to get water because there is demand, but the supply does not match the demand. There is a demand-supply mismatch, which is why people are coming here asking when they will get a water tanker. But clearly, the state government trying to downplay the incident and not taking cognizance of the crisis that people are facing on a regular basis. The state government, NGOs and activists and environmentalists say should focus more on desilting the reservoirs because the reservoirs are almost empty.
You know, Purnima, it all begins with accepting the problem, acknowledging the problem. And that is where the state government is failing because they are not even ready to acknowledge that there is an unprecedented water crisis that is unfolding in Chennai. Thank you so much for joining us, Purnima Murali. First, getting us the ground reports on how the situation is on ground. Let me bring in my guest this evening. Dr. Xavier is the head of social work department at Loyola College in Chennai, and Kavita Gajendran is a Chennai-based activist. But before I go to the guests, we have 2 callers who are joining me on the phone line now. Mohan Das is a resident of Chennai. Please go ahead and share your views.
Hello.
Yes, please. If you will reduce the audio of your television set, Mr. Mohan Das, you will be able to reply and also listen to me.
Hello.
Yes, please. Go ahead.
I am calling from Chennai. Audio commune. Hello.
So we'll try and fix that audio. Let me go to Jaya from Mumbai. Jaya, please go ahead.
Yes. everybody can see that the main sources of Chennai city, the water, the lakes are all dried up. This has been a perennial problem. Borewells are only a temporary solution. And today the very water table is dried up. And adding salt to the wound, the politicians who are in the administration from the ruling party denying that there is a crisis. Rainwater harvesting on wall footing should have been taken up. What has the administration been doing? Do they wait till the water table comes to an abysmal? No. They have been fighting for power, all bribery cases coming to the fore.
That's right.
Their salaries have been increased. And it's so callous they are. Could the administration not have worked on this water problem, which is perennial in the city? You can have desalination plants on the model of Israel. Israel did face some salt heap problem.
This is what the reality of Indian metropolitan cities are becoming. Thank you so much for joining us, Jaya, there from Mumbai. Let me bring in the guests and go to Dr. Xavier. Dr. Xavier, here is that ground report which talks about how the crisis is, and it's deeply disturbing how events are happening in the state. Why is the state government not ready to acknowledge it? They'll be able to fix the problem only if they acknowledge it.
I think you're absolutely right on that. Every day we hear news reports coming out from the ministers who are saying that there is no water crisis in Chennai. Now the fact is they are in a denial mode. The moment you say there is a water crisis, the next question that people will ask is who's responsible for the crisis? Of course, common citizens, all of us are responsible for the crisis like this, but then this crisis is very clear. Very clear. There are 3 reservoirs that supply water to Chennai, and these have not been desilted for over a period of time. We raised our voices at a fever pitch when the Chennai floods were here. That was 3 years ago. And even after that, immediately after that, when the Varda cyclone came in, or even after that, when the Gaja cyclone came in also, there were serious considerations of desilting. Nothing has been done. Second, there has been zero attention paid to any kind of rainwater harvesting or the reinforcement of that. There's just nothing happening. Then the recycling of water. There is water, but then the water needs to be recycled and we have to put our water to better use. Now, sanctioning over 200 crores right now is really not going to help in any way.
Yes.
Now, see, in the last 40 years, if you see, the crisis has been unfolding bit by bit.
Yes.
If you take the Kosisthalayar, the river that comes into Chennai, when it enters about 40 kilometers from Chennai is a pristine river. The moment it touches Chennai, it completely gets polluted, and including the sewage lines, the waterways, all these things get polluted. Now, what is happening is we do not have a comprehensive water management plan for the city at all. We are way back, way back. Now, look at various other governments which have managed this effectively. I'm not talking about rain abundant states. I'm talking about rain parched states, which over a period of 10 years have become completely self-sufficient, and our own research indicates how they have managed drinking water so efficiently well. It's not about linking rivers or anything else. It is about the political will to deal with this crisis.
Which is missing. The political will is missing. Kavita Gajendran, we have been talking about how there is a need to protect the groundwater, how there are reservoirs in the state where distilling has not happened. But the larger question is that the crisis of this nature doesn't happen overnight. The signs came way in advance. This has been happening for the last few years. Why didn't the state government react? Because for the longest time, they have been saying that this is a manufactured crisis.
Yes, this is not just a manufactured crisis. They say that this is a manufactured crisis. We fear, some of us fear, that this is a proper planned mismanagement. This is not just a mismanagement of the government, but this is a proper planned mismanagement the government does to cater to certain corporates. I mean, the solution that they put forth to manage the water crisis is desalination and river linking. But who are these projects going to cater to? I mean, you are not addressing Chennai is basically a lake city. We have provision to hold number of lakes and ponds. So you are not addressing that. What about, I mean, if you have if all these areas have been encroached for real estate agents that
so
is
there is a larger scam.
Parties.
There's a larger scam that is
Yes,
unfolding.
so yes.
For benefiting certain
so you
groups.
basically create this is. Yes, this is man-made, this is government-made, this is corporate-made crisis.
Okay, we have three callers
now going
from Chennai now joining us on this broadcast. Basan is a resident of Chennai. Please go ahead, Basan.
See, the water crisis is a once in 3 year episode, which I am a born and brought up person in Chennai. So water crisis is not something very strange for me. It keeps happening. There are two reasons for it. One, the public apathy to the way they manage water, unless you legislate. Let me bring one example. Jayalalitha, during her regime as Chief Minister, brought in a legislation stating that if you do not have a rain harvesting, your ration card will be terminated, your connection, electricity connection. So some sort of a legislative compulsion is required. The general public is just not interested in voluntarily doing anything. They have to be
forced. They should be forced to act.
Yeah, correct.
Okay, Mr. Basan, thank you so much for that idea. Shankar is also a resident of Chennai. Shankar, go ahead.
I just want to know, see, this is a very good discussion, but unfortunately you are not having any of the lawmakers as part of your discussion.
We did try to get in touch with them. But for the longest time, they are not even ready to acknowledge the problem, Shankar, and that is the reality of the lawmakers of this country.
Yeah, so it's very sad. I mean, people are denying the entire fact. And the other thing is, see, this metro water thing is also another big hangama, because they are not giving water to the residents, but they are now sending the tankers, and every tanker has to be paid for. People have to pay to get a tanker. So basically, it is a money-making racket more than, bad management. I think it's a very good management by the government to make more money.
Okay. So this is a racket, as you have been talking about, and same was highlighted by Kavita as well. We have another caller, Mohandas. Mr. Mohandas, go ahead.
Yeah, madam, this water crisis is man-made. Say, for the last several years, government has not made any long-term plan for the water management. Hello?
Yes, please.
Yeah, water management. All the residents here in OMR, this IT corridor is there. There are nearly 13 to 14 lakh people are living. There is no water connection. There is no sewage connection. All people are now under the mercy of these private lorry vendors. This is big cartel. These all private lorry vendors are the binamis of some political parties or some political persons. They are making big money. Now they are charging double the rate. For every 12,000 liter, they are charging 3,000 rupees. This is the big racket is going over here.
Okay, thank you so much. Thank you so much for joining us. Kavita, so what you were talking about, actually that view is shared by most of the residents of Chennai who have called on this program. All of them are of the opinion that there is some kind of racket that is unfolding, and this is man-made, particularly made by the government. It's a manufactured crisis of the government itself because they are looking at benefiting all those who are running these water tankers.
Yes, see, we have an example for this. When Kudankulam was set up years back, there was an electricity problem there was a lack of electricity for about 10 days. It was created, and then the plant went alive, and then the plant went active. So this kind of structured demand was basically done to, and then a new plan comes up, a new project comes up that basically caters to various corporates, various players that basically belongs to different political parties, different corporate organizations. So that's how it has been done. But then eventually it's getting into as a political, this water crisis is basically, turning into a political crisis, it's turning into a health issue, it's turning into a economical problem, it's turning into a, it's turning into an economical problem as well. So these are the issues that's surrounding, and what is the best that the government has for people and for their lives. We have violence that's been rising. We have a person that was murdered in a couple of weeks back in Trichy. few days back, we have a woman who was stabbed. We have schools that's asking children to bring an extra bottle just for toilet use. And what is this government doing to address all this issue? And according to Article 21, clean water.
Go use the next water tanker.
Yes, according
Pay
to
extra money for that water tanker.
Yes.
That is what the government of the day is saying.
Yes,
there.
and according to Article 21, every Indian citizen has the right to clean water.
Yes.
And what is this government doing with all the tax money? And you're supposed to give a peaceful life, but
okay,
that's
let
not
me
being
give
done.
the final words to Dr. Xavier. Dr. Xavier, public apathy, when we look at, another caller was of the opinion that there is need for some kind of legislation. A legislation that will be a deterrent and also perhaps will make people more responsible in the manner in which they are handling water. Something that Jay Lalita did. Is that the solution and the way forward?
No, there are legislations that are already in place. This is not going to solve the problem. The public conscientization is definitely one issue. Conscientization will help in taking the problem forward. But you see, we have a government which has been elected to look at these issues. Now, who does the water belong to? The government is the custodian of water.
Yes.
And it is the responsibility of the government to make sure that every citizen has the right ensured in terms of drinking water or in terms of various other utilities.
Okay.
Now, public utilities need to be with the government and not being privatized. In Coimbatore, the entire water system has been privatized. Is that a solution? No, definitely not. Now, the problem is a government needs to be foresighted. And we know that this crisis was unfolding not now.
That is missing not only in Tamil Nadu, but all over the country. None of the governments are able to acknowledge that there is a crisis of this scale, which is unfolding in several villages, towns and also cities of India. Thank you so much for joining us, Dr. Xavier and Kavita. Thank you so much. We are looking at Chennai, ladies and gentlemen, but similar story is unfolding also in Maharashtra. Maharashtra is reeling under the impact of drought. Nearly 50% of its geographical area, which incorporates around 72% districts, has been hit by drought and consequent crop failure. The heat wave has compounded the situation. Latur, Beed, Osmanabad in Marathwada region have been identified as the worst affected districts. Here's a report from Vinaya Deshpande.
This is Satana in Maharashtra's Nashik district, where drought has destroyed over 4,000 hectares of pomegranate orchards. The state is reeling under one of its worst droughts this year.
These burnt orchards reflect the grim story of Maharashtra, of the severe drought and the farm distress in the state at present.
It's a year of lost hope for 69-year-old Bharat Singh Nikam.
दीदी तकलीफ तो होंगी ना, देखो लाख रुपए खर्चे किया, उसमें रुपया मिला नहीं।
आप कितने सालों से खेती कर रहे हैं?
मैं 2007 से कर रहा हूँ। जब रिटायर हुआ वो दिन से खेती कर रहा हूँ।
तो इतना बुरा टाइम आपने पहले कभी देखा है?
नहीं, यही साल में सब दो साल का जो पैसा मिला, ये साल में ले गए वो बाग।
Nikam insured his crop but is yet to be compensated. A few kilometers away, Bhagwan Pawar is in worse shape.
हमको पीने के लिए पानी नहीं, इसलिए बाग जो है ना वो भी छोड़ने पड़े हमको। इसके जो फसल है पूरी फट गई है, इसलिए 1 रुपए का भी हमको लाभ नहीं हुआ इसका।
Drought has hit output in Lasalgaon, Asia's largest onion market, and is expected to worsen if the monsoon is not normal and on time.
प्रोडक्शन में कमी आई, जितना एवरेज मिलना चाहिए उतना इस साल मिला नहीं।
खेती के लिए भी पानी की बहुत सारी समस्या यहाँ भी हो रही है, लेकिन अभी जो माल आया है ये खेती से निकाला गया है, अभी गोडाउन में आ चुका है, तो ये कम से कम दिसंबर तक माल की सप्लाई में कोई कमी नहीं आएगी, ऐसी आज की स्थिति है। लेकिन आगे जाके अगर बारिश नहीं होती है तो मुश्किल हो सकती है।
The government has spent over 7,000 crore rupees on drought relief, but the future of 18,000 villages in Maharashtra is now solely dependent on good monsoons. With Vinaya Deshpande and Manish Dubey in Nashik, in New Delhi, Shayani Iyer.